Welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ, and I guess I have resolved the problem because I am seeing myself on the actual show. Let's talk about Russ and glue. So
simply,
it actually showed up correct. So I've been dealing with this
live on Twitch.
Weeks. Yes. So I've been dealing with this for 3 weeks. So. I finally went through all of Twitch's database on frequently asked questions, and it said just delete the channel or reinstall it. So that's what I did. So it's apparently that's working. So that's good. I do need to pull up one thing before we go any further.
We're going further?
I'm looking for my
sanity. Insanity.
No, the chat that I want to pull up where I can actually see the chat from all three. So yes. So we're getting things straightened out, and welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. Tonight we're going to be talking about glue. We're going to go through the panel, and they're going to talk about their favorite glues and what they use them for and everything. And I have my own brought out. I told them to bring their own and show and tell for tonight. I know we've talked about glue before, but I actually have 2 or 3 things that I've learned that are interesting as far as the glue part goes. Before we get into that, let's talk about my wonderful sponsors, and they are Devobal Technologies. For web design, development, and hosting, visit devobal.com. FastCap, innovative products for the professional woodworker. Go to fastcap.com. Rockler, 60 years in woodworking. Create with confidence. Go to rockler.com. Bearwood Supply Company, your best choice for hard-to-find woodworking supplies. Go to bearwood.com. Clean Spore, the sanding specialist, woodworkingshop.com. And Seiko, the scroll saw specialist at seiko.com. If you don't mind, subscribe to my channel. I like, so give me a like. And if you'll hit the little bell up there in the corner, it'll let you know anytime I post a new video or a live stream. So we'll start off with introductions. Let's make them short and sweet. Paul
Carlos, Paul's Messy Workshop. You're on, Jim.
Okay, Jim Bashir's Driveway Workshop. I'm actually in the workshop tonight, so all the junk back there are actually tools. And any smart aleck remarks tonight is brought to you by Golden Monkey.
Woohoo!
Donna?
What the heck is a golden? What the heck is a golden
monkey Belgian style triple ale with added spice, 9.5%.
I've actually heard of it.
Okay, that's the first for me. All right, Donna.
Actually, pretty good.
Donna Presley, Donna's Wooden Art, Donna's Embroidery Plus. This is Maddie. She decided she wanted to be on the panel too tonight.
Hello.
Hey, hello. How are you doing? Glad to have you here.
Not now. Say hi.
Oh, now she's going to be shy.
You're actually, I love your hair. You have such curly hair. It's beautiful.
It's wild.
Coast to coast, and she's shy.
You want your hair cut?
No, don't cut it.
No, it's beautiful.
You can do it like mine.
Yeah, you can be like him, bald.
How's that? Want this kind of haircut? Nah, I don't want it either.
All right, Al.
Oh, me. Hey. Al Forte, Odessa Woodworking Maker Shop. Kilroy 79763. Kilroy 79763. Hey, it's right there. All over the place.
Chris.
Chris.
Again, Chris here from the old Cranky Workshop, and you're not. We're down here prepping for a hurricane, but it's not looking like it's going to go north. It's going to be not my problem.
Hope and
Probably
pray.
going to be mine.
Let's hope. I'm going to ship it up to the Panhandle.
Yeah, Donald.
I'm Donald Matthews from Donald Philosophies Wood Shop. My Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you find all that there. I've got a website, redneckknowhow.com.
Dixon.
You can find me at hoffmansignsandDecals.com.
All right, everybody go back to the chat and start hollering out people that
All right,
we see.
I want to be the first. Jimbo, for you.
Great. Come
Brooks
on.
Martin, Portal Woodworks, Jimbo.
Aussie man.
Michelle
I'm trying
Marcus
to find. I've lost my chat screen. So
Donna Presley's out there.
Danny Woodworking.
Some
JJ.
clown named Kilroy.
Rick St. Louis.
Brooks Martin.
Brooks Martin. Aussie.
Jim Dockrell's out there.
Michelle McCoo.
McCoo. Ooh, shit.
Aussie man, of course.
I'm getting
Rick
so tired
St.
of this
Louis.
restream thing. I tell you.
Dan Englewood is out there.
Polly wants a crafter.
There he is. Yes,
Let
when
me
you
see
were
if I
safe
can
from
get my
Polly, he comes back.
And anybody we have missed, our sincerest apologies. Just ask us a question and we'll say your name.
I said I'm getting so sick and tired of this restream.
Hey, while you're working on that, Jimbo had a really good, I mean, he's like the scroll saw master, but he had a really good scroll saw box he just posted a little bit ago within the last week or so.
Okay, we'll have to go look at that.
Yeah, he's been doing some I'm going to call them baskets, I think. I think they're boxes, though. In fact, on one of his posts, he said that don't ask me what wood it is. But it was really cool.
All right. When you're in Windows 11, how do you find a program that you have open?
I close everything, and the one left is the one I'm looking for.
You alt tab, and that shows you a video of a window of all the windows you're at. And then whichever one you've got highlighted is the one that, when you click it, it goes over here. Of course, I've got two monitors, so it's the same thing. But
yeah, it's just I have the restream chat here. Let me double click on it and see if it'll remanifest itself.
I got glue on my keyboard for some reason.
I wonder how that happened. Sure, it's glue.
You were eating it. That's why you can't.
What have you been doing in front of the keyboard?
Yes, it's glue. We'll talk about that later.
All right, that's a post-show conversation.
I have some. While there's some dead time, I have some glue here I bought because of you guys mentioned it, and I'm not sure, but it's supposed to be pretty good.
Tacky glue.
So what's it like? Does it dry right away?
That's the good stuff right there. Yeah, that's what you got. That's
okay. Does it dry
stuff.
right away, or is it like Elmer's glue, or what's
it's
it
like? It's like Elmer's glue. But,
okay.
But the nice thing is you can apply it over paint.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty clear. You're saying.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Let me get back into this. What did you just show?
Aleene's tacky glue.
This here, you guys said
this is
good glue. So I bought a bottle, but I know nothing about it. I never used it. I used a lot of glue.
It's great stuff.
Okay.
Okay. If we're going to go in this direction, since you said you don't know anything about it, let me explain to you. This is great project glue. Okay. It will glue. It's the only glue that I have ever found that will do paint to paint. In other words, if you paint a project and have another project that's painted and want to glue them together, let's say I do a scroll saw project and I want to put the backer on it, this will glue paint to paint. It's very thick. So therefore, it's reason it's called tacky glue. My wife, when she was in like building some furniture for her dollhouse, she could put a drop and put the leg on a chair or whatever, and just hold it for a few seconds, and boom, it would grab. But it is first off, it's interior only, no exterior, and it's a hobby project glue.
So it dries clear.
It dries clear. It does drive clear. So yes. So, but it's a fan. I love it. I use it on a lot. Anything that I'm going to put together inside, I'll use this. It doesn't take a lot of it, and it works great. Dries clear, and like I said, but it's the only I have used tight bond between painted projects, and it would not hold. This one will hold on painted to painted projects. So
all the man's asking you to do a close up on it.
Yes, he wants to zoom in.
Does it take like a day to dry? You should let it dry for a day then?
No, it's like normal glue. Yeah, you should let it sit for 4 to 6 hours,
Okay.
I would say within 4 to 6. Yeah, any glue takes like 24 hours to dry. But this one will set within 4 to 6 hours. She was waiting like an hour and put the arm on the other side of the chair, and then wait an hour, put the arm on the other side of the chair, and they was holding good. So, but it's Aleene's tacky glue.
Ultra strong, dries clear, non-toxic.
Yeah, non-toxic. So I can just take this lid off and drink it, and it wouldn't bother me at all.
Fun out of it.
Yeah.
Smell.
Yeah. What are you having if it ain't toxic?
Since you brought that up, that's a good point. I mean, if I was making projects inside the house, like Donna does her stuff and everything else. I mean, I'm sure she has fabric glues that would work better than this on wood, but this is the go-to glue for all your interior projects and everything. It's better than Tite Bond ever thought about being. Now,
I wonder how it works without stripping the paint off.
That's what I'm curious about too.
What you mean without stripping the paint off? If you glue wood to wood,
yeah, but
it works great.
Yeah, I understand that, but painted surfaces, it's going to attach to the paint actually.
Well, let's put it this way. Yeah, if you try to take it apart, it will rip the paint off of both of the projects, in other words. So, yes, I understand what you're saying. It's actually bonding to the paint, but if you've got a good enough hole in the paint, it's not coming off. It'll literally rip the paint off the wood, in other words.
Well, it must be eating through the paint a little bit to get to the wood surface.
Yeah, so I don't know what it's doing, but it's good. I'll testify. It's good.
Hey, James asked if there's any difference in the gold bottle or the clear bottle.
Yes, the gold bottle is white glue, and the clear one is clear glue, but they both dry clear.
Yeah, I've got the white.
I got the white.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Where'd you learn that, Paul? I didn't even know that.
I think I saw it at the craft store.
I didn't even know they had a clear.
Yeah, that's what Dixon's got.
Yeah, this looks good because it's if it dries like that,
I have never seen clear. Wow,
does it look like available at like Hobby Lobby or?
Yep.
Yes,
or even Walmart. Walmart has it.
Hobby Lobby.
I couldn't tell you. I only shop Amazon, so I don't have to get.
Amazon has it. I can guarantee you, Amazon has it. All right, so the first person that's closest to me is Mr. Paul. So you want to talk about a few of your glues that you use?
Sure.
Let's keep it. Let's keep it short and sweet because,
like everybody else, I use Aleene's tacky glue. I use it mostly if I have a painted or a finished surface. My go-to glue is Tite Bond 2. If it's going to be outside, my go-to glue is Tite Bond 3 Ultimate. I just tried this. It's Gorilla Glue Ultimate. I really like it. It dries clear. It's a little thicker than Tite Bond.
Yeah.
And it's white, but I really like it. You get a little bit more working time with it. I use super glue. The most super glue I use is on my CNC because I use painter's tape, super glue, painter's tape on my project to hold it down.
Mark Lindsay process.
Yes.
And
I
use this.
Oh yeah, the old
gun.
Oh, that's a nice tool.
This comes in. I never realized how handy this was.
Yes.
Yep.
But I use it quite a bit.
It is very handy.
I've
I
used it
forgot
on my
about it.
Enterprise to hold those little wires in place while I screwed them down. Perfect.
Yeah, it's great for electronics because it doesn't conduct electricity.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
like I was saying earlier, I just experimented with this stuff. You see it on late night TV, and I really like it. It's
I'm gonna have to buy some of that and try it.
yeah, it doesn't take
Explain what it's for.
It is for holding anything to anything. You can put it on brick and then mount something to the brick. It's a double-sided sticky tape, and it's supposed to use nanotechnology, whatever that means. But you can put this on about anything and stick anything to it. And I use it for, I've got a little USB port on my desk that was always sliding around, and I put just a little tiny piece under it, and boy, it holds it solid. Today, I took a Halloween thing that I had cut out, one of Russ's patterns I had cut out, and I put just a little piece of that alien tape on the back of it, peeled off the other side, and stuck it to my glass storm door, and it stayed there. And when I get ready to take it off, all I got to do is give it a twist, and it'll come right off. And if it gets dirty, you run it underwater, clean it off, and you can use it again.
So you have to actually like twist it.
Twist it. Well, I didn't want to, I'm not going to try pulling it because I don't want to break my storm door. so that's why I'm going to twist it to take it off. But I've never tried pulling straight on. I've tried twisting it and it comes off. But yeah, you can go. They have a website, alientape.com, I believe it is, and it tells about it.
All right, cool. I'm gonna have to look at that. It reminds me of the 3M tape that they have. Yes.
It does, except this is reusable.
Yes, the 3M tape's not.
Right.
By the way, it's not alientape.com. Sorry.
And usually to stick stuff to a wall, I use command strips because I really like command strips. But I'm curious to see how this works compared to command strips.
Yeah, the command strips is the one I was trying to think of, the 3M command strips. Yes.
Yep.
I use them and I love them.
I do too.
Yeah, but they're not good for heavy items. I've had things.
No, they're not. No, about 5 pounds is about the limit.
Yeah, light items are great, but the heavy items, I've tried on a couple of heavy items and it didn't work. So,
but that's all the glues I normally use. Once in a while, I use a urethane glue, like if I'm repairing furniture, the stuff that goes in a caulk gun, I'll use that, but very seldom because it's just too messy.
Yeah, Jim.
Oh, sorry, I was typing something Aussie. Type bond 2 and 3, depending if it's going to be outside or not. 3 is a little more water resistant. It's not waterproof. And then the star bond stuff for things that I have to glue, like pen blanks and stuff like that for the CNC, I use star bond. And I've got some.
3 is waterproof.
Yeah, 3 is waterproof.
You know what? If you dunk it underwater and it makes the same, you get the same results as something like an IP69K, I'll change my mind. But other than that, yeah. And for the lathe and stuff like that, when I'm doing things for my wife or wife's website or pens or stuff, it's star bond stuff.
Okay, I got a real quick interjection of this. We actually had in our woodworking club, Lakeland Woodworking Club, a tight bond guy fly down from their place to talk to us. We invited the Tampa Woodworking Club, the Orlando Woodworking Club, and made it a general event. We had about probably 50 people there. And
if my invite was lost in the mail.
Yeah. This is actually before you moved from
just giving you a hard time.
The only difference between this and Type Bond 2, okay, they're both waterproof, water resistant, is the amount of time that they were submerged in boiling water.
Exactly.
Which one released. This held longer than Type Bond 2 in the boiling water. So The only problem that I have with this is that I've heard from numerous people that if you use this on like a stained deck or whatever over a period of time, it will change color on the joints.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Other than that, you can use Type Bond 2 outside. It's just that this held longer than the Type Bond 2 under the extreme conditions. But if you'll notice, this also is dark in color compared to the Type Bond 2.
Yeah, it kind of dries brown. I don't like
Yeah,
that.
it kind of dries
but
brown. So if you're wanting something clear, I go with the Type Bond 2. I mean, it's going to hold just as good as this. And who's going to put something in boiling water for 3 hours to see if it lets go or not?
That's what I was about to say. When was the last time you built something that goes into boiling water?
Yeah. No,
Well-
I use this. I honestly, personally, I use this all the time on exterior projects that's all painted. In other words, if I'm going to make something and put it together and I'm a birdhouse, I'm going to put it all together. I'm going to paint the birdhouse. This is what I go to. But it's going to be painted.
Yeah.
That was my just a little interjection because the expert from Type Bond come down and talk to us about their stuff. So
one of the other things you can think about with glues is the place I work at now, we make sensors. So we have to pick epoxies and glues that we use on the inside of our sensors so that when the case on the sensor, which is usually a nickel plated brass tube, will expand and contract with temperature, the glue goes at the same rate.
Yeah.
So it doesn't pull away from the side or it doesn't pull the components off the PC board on the inside of the sensor stuff. So if your glue is something that expands and contracts with temperature or it swells because it's in a real humid environment, then you're gonna have problems with it. So that's why I'm saying when I started this, I made the distinction between Type Bond 2 and Type Bond 3 because I think 3 holds up better outside where it's humid, and the 2, it seems to work better inside. But I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't know much more about it than that.
got a good one right here from Austin, man. What about a glued wooden spoon in boiling water? Yes,
Yep.
then you would go with
Yep.
Type Bond 3
That is the 3.
because that's how they test the glues for exterior.
Yep.
That's what the expert from Type Bond told us. They glue the wood together, they submerge it in boiling water, and when it lets go, they judge that amount of time. So
Yep.
if you want to glue a wood spoon together, this will hold together longer.
Type Bond 3.
Type Bond 3. So Donna, and I know you do a lot of fabric stuff. So
Right. For the fabric, I use Fabri-Tac.
what is it?
Fabri-Tac.
Can you
All
make
right,
her
hold
screen
on, hold
bigger?
on. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna put you on full screens because
Green.
Fabri-Tac.
Oh, hold on. Let me move it. There it is.
okay, Fabri-Tac.
Fabri-Tac. Now, I've heard a lot of things about this E6000. No, I do not like it at all. I heard all kinds of stuff. I ain't got it to work on nothing. Woodworking, Type Bond 3.
There you go.
Yep.
Also have the glue gun that does.
Well, I see some Gorilla Glue, super glue sitting there on the corner. Yeah.
Hiding it in the back.
Well,
I get it.
hiding it from us. Yes.
I won't use any foaming type. I've used 2-part epoxy. Depends on what's going on as to what you're going to see me with. I have so many different glues. They're everywhere.
Yeah. Well, you won't use the what type?
The foam, the one, what is the Gorilla that foams up?
Oh, polyurethane.
Polyurethane glue.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
You
like,
won't use the polyurethane glue. You had no success with that?
I don't want nothing to foam. I want it to be where I put it, not when I come back. It's like, 3 times as wide because it foams up.
Yeah. I have that problem too.
Yeah, polyurethane glue does expand. Yes.
Right. And this E6000, I've tried it on a couple of different things because it says it's for all kinds of stuff. I ain't got it to work even putting a magnet back on something to get it to stay. No. I would say avoid E6000. Used it.
Heirloom Game Call said he uses E6000 to glue glass or mirror.
Now, I haven't used it on glass, so maybe that's because it's supposed to be for just about anything.
Well, if it says just about anything, then yeah.
Right.
What the heck? I mean, okay, it glues glass or mirrors, and why don't they say glass or mirrors?
Yeah, because it says for craft, decor, home repairs, scrapbooking, framing, hobby, school, home office, and more. I ain't got to work on nothing.
Oh, well.
Hey, Russ,
Well,
one thing I found out about super glue is if I store super glue like that, it'll go bad.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if I store it laying on its side, it'll last indefinitely.
Yeah, or upside down. I turn
Or
mine
upside down, but I just leave it stored on its side and it lasts indefinitely.
Yeah.
I had a lot go
Yeah,
down.
I store all my CA stuff upside down in front of my
turn it
lathe.
upside down.
So it's all in, yeah.
Actually, you're supposed to put your, like, if you have a quart of paint and you use it, you're supposed to turn it upside down too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
That's a good thing to know though, Paul. Thanks.
Yeah. Ow.
I was distracted. I was gonna ask something to Donna, but I forgot what it was. But anyway, of course, to build some models, I use model cement glue. It's good on models, but it's not very good on 3D printed stuff. I end up using CA glue, and let me give you at least my opinion on CA glue. Go to Harbor Freight and get the cheap CA glue. Don't get the gel unless you want the gel, I guess. Get the cheap CA glue that they've got there. It works as good as anything else. It comes in one little packet like this. You have 10 of them for $3, and then you use it. And then if you don't need it, you can throw it away. Anyway,
Really?
that's one of the glues I use. Of course, I use another Eileen's, another one for Eileen's. And guys, this one, I guess I'll transition this way. I've been using 77, although I've got a can of 45. I can't find the 45. This holds paper on wood before you scroll it, and it's really pretty good. I mean, this is what I use for this thing. Take a little mineral spirits afterwards, and it comes right off. The 45 is not as strong holding, and sometimes you want it, and sometimes you don't want it. So. Another thing.
Stop right there. So you're saying the 77, because I use the 45 all the time too, and I'm finding it hard. But my point being is, so you're saying the 77 releases with mineral spirits too?
Yes,
just like the 45.
Yes, just like the 45, and it holds the paper, I think, stronger.
Okay,
and I hate it. I hate it
sure.
When I'm spraying it, I'm getting it all on my hairs, and I feel it, and it's like, oh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure because I'm finding it hard to find the 45 sometimes too. But I just wanted to make sure because I love that ability to remove it with this mineral spirits.
Yes, definitely. In fact, it's almost empty. I probably have had this for like 5 years at least, and it still hasn't gone bad. So,
all right, good information. Go ahead. Go.
One thing I also use, and then I'll go to my wood glue, is this right here. JB Weld. I have fixed, and not that we're going on the topic of vehicles because this could work on anything. I have fixed timing chain covers on, in fact, my Mustang. With this stuff is hard. This stuff hardens like steel. In fact, it's steel reinforced. I believe it says quick setting steel reinforced epoxy. This stuff will work underwater once it's dry and stuff. This is great. You can put a golf ball on here. Oh, let's see. You can put a golf ball on here, and then put a metal deal on the golf ball, and put toothpicks if you wanted to up here. This stuff will hold anything. And of course, like everybody else, okay, they use Type Bond. I use Type Bond too. I get the industrial because I like this stuff. This stuff is really good. I apply it with my little bot like this, okay, and when I check it out, oh man, this stuff is the best stuff. You should try it.
You can't tell people that.
This is not Type Bond, folks. This is mayonnaise with yellow. I've done it, Dixon.
You goofy guy. Eating glue.
He saves the type on for his hot dogs.
Next
Yeah,
week
type
we'll
on
find
goes in
out
the-
somebody tipped over from eating glue.
And
Let's get
right
away from
now, I
Al
have-
because we don't want to get in any
Do not
trouble
try
and
this
have
at
any
home. Do not try
lawsuits
this at home.
about them eating tight bond. Okay,
they're on their way to the ER now.
Chris.
Well, like the rest of them, this show is brought to you by Type Bonds. This is my go-to for almost everything wood related. I've done furniture that sits outside. It's never let go on me. It's always held. Other than that, the other glues I use the JB Weld. I can give you a quick story. In the middle of the wheelchair basketball tournament, we fixed an axle plate with JB Weld on a guy's wheelchair, and it held through the rest of the weekend. So
Wow.
I big props for that. And I use the CA glue. I got the different viscosities, like the thick, the thin, and the middle ground. But I use that mostly on my model airplane projects. So I'm like Al, I don't use the Tester's tube glue anymore. I kind of graduated away from that. So,
Yeah.
I just
Hey,
didn't
Chris,
think it
I've
had
got
the hold strength that you had when I was a kid. So
Chris, I've got a question for you. Do you ever use the colored CA glue and stuff to fill holes and things with?
no, because usually when I'm still gluing, I'm before paint. So I'll use the thick stuff to fill in a seam, then sand it smooth, and then we paint, and
Okay.
you don't see it. So,
Okay.
paint can hide a plethora of mistakes. So
Paint is
but
our
that's it. I
friend.
mean, I'm a Type On fan, and we ought to get somebody from Type On to come on some night. See if they'll do a
We can
demo.
work on that.
They might not.
I did ask him about that, and his response was that, and I never did get back with him, that he could possibly do it, but he had to have corporate permission.
Well, that makes
I can see that.
In other words, when they are asked, like for instance, when my woodworking club sent them an email and asked them, yes, it had to go through corporate, and they approved. They actually flew him down here to Tampa, and he came in, and we asked the other woodworking clubs to join us, and they brought in a bunch of other people. But yes, it has to go through corporate. So I would have and I would suspect that I'm a peon, so I'm sure corporate would say, yeah, they ain't no use in going on that little show. So
And
The
any
bigger
PR
the
is good
company-
PR. So
The bigger
Yeah,
the company gets, the stronger the marketing people are.
right.
yeah. So I mean, but he was very informative. He brought stuff in there. Let's go on to Donald first before I get into some of my stuff. But go Donald.
Like everybody else, for general woodworking, Type Bond too. If I'm working on something that's going to be outside a lot, I might go pick up a bottle of Type Bond 3. But generally, if I'm doing that, I'm going to be putting it together with screws anyway. So,
Right.
If there's something I particularly want the wood glue to dry clear, I generally use the white Gorilla Glue. For my pins, putting the tubes in, I use the Gorilla Glue, polyurethane glue.
Yeah.
Because it does expand and I hold it in there. If I'm in a hurry, and I need to turn it that day, it's the Star Bond thick.
There you go.
And for their finishes, I'll use a coat of thin and then finish it out with the mediums. And if I need gaps filled, they've got black and brown color to kind of match the wood. And sometimes I'll put a little. If this doesn't quite match it or get the look I want to, I'll put a little sawdust there in that gap and put some thin, and then turn it on down and sand it down. And that's really about it.
Yeah. Star Bond makes some good products. Yes.
To piggyback what Donald was saying, using the sawdust, back when we had Shane and Shelly on, and she was doing her Sawdusto, I kept thinking, man, that'd be a great wood filler.
Yeah.
So I tried it. I used wood glue and a bunch of sawdust, mixed it all up, and made a couple seams just disappear. So,
I've shown that on my channel when you've got dovetails that's got some gaps in it. You mix some sawdust from the same wood in with the glue. it'll fill it right on up and don't nobody notice it.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Right.
All right, Dixon.
All right, I use all those glues. Them are excellent glues. The glue gun is right up there with duct tape. I mean, that's right up there with repairing anything. I used to get the Bob Smith super glue and then the activator like this. If I want something quick, but I've been buying this from Menards and it works pretty good because it's cheaper. So that's something that I use if I want it done quick. And I love this epoxy. If I want something stronger, I like the 5-minute epoxies. The two of them.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. That
Gives me
Loctite,
5
yes.
minutes, and then it's really strong. I use this on a
Yeah.
lot of all my big scale airplanes. And one of my favorite glues that nobody brought up, it's even got a warning sign on it.
What? Can't eat it?
That makes
And
it
that's
good.
and that's called Love Mags. I got two of them right here. Do not put these next to your computer. These magnets right here, these disc magnets. I don't want to get it too close to my computer. I stick these on a picture that was painted, and it's sheet metal behind it, and you can hang your pipe wrench. You can hang tools on these magnets, but you need
Yeah,
a pry
they're
bar to
good.
get them apart. If you put two of them together, you need a pry bar to get them apart. It works awesome for hanging all your tools real quick.
That's a good idea.
Are those the rare earth magnets?
Yes, they got a warning, and they come in a box, and they have these plastic inserts, or you can't get them apart unless you use a little pry bar.
Don't get your finger between them.
Oh God, no.
No, it will actually pinch the skin. Like if you
Yes.
on the edge of your finger, it'll actually pinch the skin off.
Yeah, that's why they got this warning sign. It'll hurt if you get them.
Trust me, I know. I bought some of them to use on the bed of my laser, and I was pulling a couple of them apart, and I got them apart a little bit enough that they came down again and got the little bit of skin on my finger, and it actually it's
I used to pair them on a desk I made for Amy, and the front flap would fall down. So I used a pair of magnets like that to hold it up. Well, she went to open it, and she couldn't get it open. I would try to open it. I couldn't get it open. I had to get underneath and take the hinges off on the bottom so I could pry the whole front plate off. We went with a weaker magnet after that. So.
It works great if you want to sink them in wood or anything to put a cover on to hold it temporary, and then you can still get it apart if you have to.
Yeah. James Parker said, "Is Loctite super glue better than Gorilla Glue?" I'm fixing to go into that, and I just happened to look up at the chat and caught what he said. It wasn't like I was looking for anything. It just happened to be that he posted that, and I'm going to say yes. And I will get into that.
Russell, before you go down that road,
I used Pipe Bond 2 and 3.
Okay. Flag in the play. I want that CA bottle you showed. Brown bottle, was it?
The activator, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That same company I've discovered sells to about 1 million different hobby shops, and the hobby shops just put their own label on it.
Yes. Yep. That's
That's
why
pretty common, though.
I was at a hobby shop here in Punta Gorda. I looked at it and said, that's the same shit I got back in New England.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the same company. He sells to everybody. So
you put a drop of that activator on one end, and then you put the CA on the other, and once they touch, that's it.
Done. Stay in there forever. Yep.
So Dixon, the stuff. So you're saying the stuff that you get at Menards, the glue, works with like the common activators. Right?
Yes, it's all. Yes.
Okay.
All the super glues are made at the same company. It's just they how thick and thin they are, how much glue release
I
they
get
put
it.
in it.
Yep. CA glue is CA glue is CA glue.
Yeah.
And I'll have you know, it's the same substance hospitals use to close up sutures.
Yeah.
Actually, you're right, because I have used the two. I'm a 2P10 fan.
Yep.
As far as CA glue.
Yep,
and
me too.
I've used their activators on Gorilla Super Glue, Loctite Super Glue, the cheap Super Glue, activator. And I'm not going to say there's the same in super glues, but the activator will activate any super glue.
Right.
I'll tell you a little trick. In a pinch, if you're out of activator, Now this won't work on a finish because it's gonna cloud up. But you can take a little bit of baking soda and mix it with alcohol and stick it in that spray bottle, and it works the same as activator.
Really?
All right.
Really? Wow.
I have to try that. All right. Am I going to get my turn?
Yes. Sure.
Anyway, Type Bond 2, Type Bond 3. Allene's. So I've got a couple of things that I want to add to that. And that is in building. Oh, no. First, before we go anywhere else, I was a 2P10 kind of guy. I've used 2P10. I love it. I have started using Loctite just because I would have to buy the 2P10 and the bigger bottles. And I don't use as much as I used to, so they would end up, even laying them down or upside down, they would go bad. I started using the Loctite. This one happens to be the Ultra Control Gel. This one happens to be just our Gel Control, the thin or whatever. I started experimenting with the Loctite super glues. And I want to tell you, they're as good as the 2P10s. And I've used the 2P10 activator on these, and they work perfectly. And these are a lot cheaper, and they're a lot smaller, amounts. So if they don't go bad, in other words, I pay $20 for a bottle, the big bottle, and it goes bad. I only pay a few bucks for this, and I usually use it up before it goes bad. But my point being is, I've had the best success with Loctite. I tried Gorilla Glue. I tried several other CA glues, and I had problems with them.
I like the bottles. I like the bottles those come in too, with the squeeze things on the side.
Yeah, the squeeze things on the side where you can actually squeeze these blue things to get it out of the bottle.
I have
Russell,
a
bring
question
us
for
up
you,
for
Russ.
full screen. Go full screen and show that.
Yeah,
I
go
have a
full
question
screen.
for you, Russ. Does that have do them have the needles inside the cap? I was
Yes,
just curious.
they have the needles inside the caps.
Okay, I'm gonna try them.
There you go, look at that.
Yeah, see how they have the squeeze thingies?
Okay.
So you can apply it by squeezing these blue things on the side.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, and I don't think you can see it inside. I can't see it inside, but yes, it has a needle that it goes down inside of it too. It has this look kind of like really cool twist cap, how it locks down on, and it's got like the different locks so you can turn it and you can feel when it locks in. So this part right here I like. But I've tried this. Let me turn around again. All three different brands of the Loctite. I tried the thin, the gel, all of them, and they have worked I got to figure out how to get the heck myself out of this.
Do some of those come with a brush too? I'd like to try one with a brush. How do you got that?
No,
brush?
none of them come with the brush.
Okay.
But I really like the Loctite. So in working with building my camper trailer, I know I said I love Type Bond. I've used Type Bond and everything else, but I wanted to find something that I could use. I needed to glue 2 pieces of plywood together side by side. I didn't want it to get real messy, even though I laid down wax paper and everything. By using Type Bond, we're talking in-grain plywood side by side. I needed 2 pieces so that they would be 5 foot by 6 foot wide. Now, I don't have clamps big enough for that. So I'm worried about the clamping part of it, but I want to get them joined. So I came up with the idea. I read about this stuff, this Loctite P375 heavy duty. Okay. It's thick. Yeah. It's like a caulk. Okay. And it grips very well. So I ended up taking the 2 pieces and laying them flat not using anything other than my hand pressure, and I ended up using pocket holes. I went with one pocket hole on the right piece at the top, and every 6 inches down through that 5-foot piece, pocket hole screws. Okay, so that was going to be my clamp, so to speak, was the pocket hole screws. I used the coarse thread because plywood has the they're on the end. You don't want fine thread. And then I coated this one surface. I only took one surface with this. This dries clear. It's water cleanup. So the squeeze out I can wipe off. And I glued those two pieces. What I was trying to do was I needed to glue those two pieces together to make the platform for the bed, because I was going to put a king size mattress on that, and then I wanted to fold it up put hinges on it and use it to fold up. So that was going to be the platform for the king size mattress. I was so impressed. This stuff, just like, as soon as I would put a pocket hole in there, you could see it was like it would squeeze out some, but I was liberal. I was, when you say liberal, it's the opposite of liberal. I was
excessive. Yeah, you wanted excessive.
I didn't want excessive. I did liberal so that it would not get messy. In other words, because I'm going to end up having to sand this stuff off and clean it off and everything. And this is water cleanup. So I put pocket holes every 6 inches, one on the right, one on the left, one on the right, one on the left, every 6 inches, all the way down that thing, and use this to glue those two pieces together. I left it for 24 hours to come back, and I stood on the end of that piece and lifted it up with no support and picked it up and held it over my head, and it didn't bow. It locked in. Now, I attribute to the pocket hole screws, don't get me wrong, I attribute to that, but also it didn't give in any way, shape, or form. It stuck together like it was one full solid piece. Basically, the pocket hole screws were my clamps, but I know they're permanent clamps, if you get what I'm saying, because they're held together. So, but I was very impressed. And it held together great. It was easy to sand off on the other surface. It was on the bottom. It easily sanded off. I even went ahead and I needed to make the bed frame, so I made 8-inch pieces to go all the way around the edge of the bed to hold the beds in place when I folded up against the wall. So I used pocket hole screws and this again to do end edge to plywood. It worked great. It worked great. I was able to wipe it and clean it, and it leveled out. It held. I sit there and grabbed a hold of the pieces. Once again, it's pocket hole screws plus that. So, but I just want to say I was very impressed with this because wood glue. It just, I love tight bond, but it just can't, when you put that much trying to go between plywood, it just goes out everywhere. You have to seem to put more on plywood because it's end grain. The end grain sucks up the tight bond, so to speak. This didn't seem to happen that way. It seemed to be more of able to stabilize itself. So just to throw it out there, this worked great with plywood, end grain to end grain. So,
John Heiss uses construction adhesive a lot on stuff. You guys watch his channel?
I tried construction adhesive that he's talking about. What is the name of it?
There's PL 200.
I've tried liquid nails, and I've had problems with liquid nails.
Yeah.
Bunches of times it's failed on me. We put a floor in on a mobile home that had rotted out. We came in and stripped it all out and put it down, and we used liquid nails to keep the squeaks out on all the floor joists, and then set it, and we still had squeaks. So I've had problems with that. And this is not a glue. I just want to throw that out there. This is not a glue, but I had a place in the front of that camper that had were the aluminum panels that flex met up with a molding strip. And so you had little gaps that would form. And as it's driving down the road, I tried a lot of different things and I kept on having problems with it cracking. The glue or the caulking that I put in there, and I know it's not glue, but just want to point this out, with it cracking. And it was fed down the backside of the wall where it actually leaked into when we get into my plywood on the interior. Well, there's butyl caulking, and let me tell you, butyl is the best thing on the planet. You can seal gutters with it. You can seal this. That's a messy. That's hard to work with. That's just, I hate butyl caulking, even though it's probably the best sealing on the planet. I ran across this. Yeah. And it says it is pliable and all that. It gives me all this other kind of stuff. And I said, what the heck? I've tried everything else. This was actually cheap. It was only like $3 a tube. And I put this in that crack for 6 weeks. And I have driven that trailer around. It is still in the same place and hasn't leaked.
Sounds like a big stretch to me.
Yeah.
Like a lap.
Has it rained?
So this is caulking. Like I said, it's not an adhesive, but I just found it interesting that this, if you read what it says, it lived up to its name.
I'm gonna get.
Yeah, we're fixing to cut out of here. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay,
But,
talk to
thanks for being here tonight, Paul. Good night, Paul.
Later.
But,
Hi, Paul.
yeah, just to throw that out there, this was a caulking and it lived up to its name. So that's just my 2 cents on the few of the things that I have dealt with lately.
Hey, Russ, can I back up into the chat here? Brian Woodward put in that he says Mercury Flex is where it's at for CA glue. I've never even heard of that.
I never heard of that either.
So, yeah, Brian, if you want to put some info about it in the chat, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we're fixing to cut out. Jim Dockrell said, I repaired the base of a 5-foot concrete fountain with PL Premium, this stuff, and he said it held. Yeah, I mean, I just tried it to see what it would do, and I went online and read a lot of reviews and a lot of people that said that this was like a fantastic glue, and so I went. What's by the number on that?
PL what? What was the number? PL what?
370, 375.
PL 375 heavy duty. It comes out white. It dries clear.
I'm not doing construction project anymore. But
it's a construction glue. Yes, it's more of a construction glue than a hobby glue. It's more construction glue. But I had great success with it. I was surprised that next day when I picked up that piece of plywood, and I'm giving credit to the pocket holes too. I'm not lying that I didn't, wasn't. But I was really surprised that it held that good. I mean, you can sit there and shake it, and it's like it works good. All right, so we're cutting out of here.
Sorry,
I promised that I wouldn't go over
5
tonight.
minutes.
So
5 minutes.
we're cutting out now, not 5 minutes from now. So, but those are a few things. I just want to say one thing else. If you got some foaming projects to do, or you know how you buy the can of foam that you spray in the little cracks or whatever, fill them up, and 90% of the time you don't use the whole can of foam, but it goes bad because you can't clean out the tube,
right?
And you can't do anything else more. They sell these professionals. This actually goes this way.
Right.
Things for the cans. Okay. Now this is actually the cleaner. You can get the cleaner to clean out your can. And this is your actually can of foam that you stick on it. Okay.
I love
That's
that
great
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, that's great
Love
stuff.
that.
Let me make myself big time. See, this is just a real quick tip I'm going to tell you because it's worth the investment.
It is.
So you buy the can of foam, use about half of it. You're going to throw it away because everything else, it's going to dry up. It gets clogged in the tube and everything else, right? You buy this. I got 12 cans of this, 3 cans of this, and this glue or the foam thing for $70 for my trailer.
Wow.
Okay. If you connect this foam tube to this same thing, you can let it sit for 30 days and it will not dry out.
Wow.
I guarantee it. I left this thing connected for 2 weeks. And I went and picked it up and pulled the trigger and it shot foam out.
Jealous.
So if you need foam and you need a project that has to have, and I'll turn around and you can see it's the great
stuff.
Great stuff. Yeah.
It used to be good stuff. Now
This is what you need to invest in. Like, in other words, if you're going to need 2 or 3 cans, you're better off investing in this. And then, and then it comes with the cleaner.
Right.
So that when you get through and it's going to be longer than 30 days, you pull this can off, you put this can on, and you squirt it until all the foam comes out and you see the clear spray coming out of this, and you've cleaned your gun.
So where do you buy it at?
I found the cheapest price on Amazon.
But I've seen them at Home Depot too.
Yeah, Home Depot has it, but the cheapest, they had a special on Amazon for the whole kit, the 12 cans, the 3 cans of cleaner, and the gun for like $70. And it was cheaper. Add up the amount of cans that they cost you if you buy them individuals.
Right.
So
I ran into the problem when we had the old house. The old houses, you've always got cracks that need to be filled or spots between the bricks that need to be filled in. But I wouldn't do it until I had enough spots to justify a whole can.
Exactly.
Here's what happens. You wait too long, you go through the whole can, and you still haven't got all the spots filled.
Yep. And that's what I said. They say 30 days. I left the can in there for 2 weeks and come back, and still it was great. I used it. So, I mean, I can't testify more than 2 weeks, but I would say that, yeah.
On Amazon for $86. Nice.
Yeah. So, I think mine was a special that I bought it on because it was the whole kit or whatever. And this has been like 8 weeks ago or whatever when I bought it. But just throwing that out there that if you've got a lot of foam you need to do, this is well worth its price in gold. Because then, like I said, you can clean the gun out with the cleaner.
Don't get it on your skin
anymore.
Do what?
So glad I'm not in that renovating a house and need those things.
Yeah. Well, I had a lot of foam a lot of places and cracks to fill in that trailer that I'm building and everything.
When we moved in here and I set up the shop, I had to break down what the construction equipment was and put that in a tub and put it away because I don't need it anymore. So,
yeah.
It was amazing. It was all mixed together.
Well, I want to say thank you for everybody watching. It's been a great show, at least I think so. And we went back to the old topics, and that's what we're going to continue with, going back to the basics and just talking about things that we use and how we use them. So, but thank you for watching. If
anybody out there has a topic idea, needs to throw one of us an email or a message.
Yeah, throw the topic ideas. You can PM me on Facebook or instant message me or whatever you want to call it on Facebook. But yeah, thank you very much. Great show. Thank you for Jim.
Good.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Donald. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Al. Thank you, Dixon. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Russ.
Thanks, Russ.
I appreciate you all. And
bringing us back to center.
Good show.
If you're too darn busy to get out in your shop and make some sawdust, you're just too darn busy. Just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching, and God bless.
Hi, boys and girls. Remember, You don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here.
What he
Nope.
said.
Hey.